What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this world premiere of the all-new Lotus Type 132, which is a working name. This is a fully electric SUV and marks a new era for Lotus as a brand. They want to sell many cars and increase their revenue so they can play with the big boys. And this is their first attempt at making a lifestyle vehicle, basically. We've got the Evija, we've got the Emira, but these are sports or even hypercars, and this is a car for everyone, basically, if you can afford it, of course. But it is an SUV, it is supposed to be more practical, but just take a look at it. It's freaking gorgeous. So what we're going to do today is show you what it looks like. Of course, this car is 98% production ready, so we should be able to confirm with certainty, well, relative certainty, that this is the way it is going to look. I do have to say that, a little bit of a disclaimer, this car has been kitted out fully. So we've got a lot of optional stuff like the massive 23-inch wheels, a lot of carbon fiber on the exterior and the interior. So this is basically the coolest it will look. So at the front we've got a very aggressive and very short front end. And of course, because this is an electric vehicle, you don't need all that space for a V8, because an Aston Martin DBX or a Lamborghini Urus, those are the cars that I tend to compare this to. They need all that space for a big engine, but you don't need that here. You just have one electric motor at the front and one at the rear. Now, as you can see, we have a very aggressive front end with LED daytime running lights and the headlights, which are actually down here, hidden within the carbon fiber. And left of the headlights, you can see a sort of a Venturi tunnel that directs air in here and that flows out on top to limit the amount of drag, of course. You don't want that with a performance car, and you definitely don't want that with an electric performance car, because it hurts range and it hurts performance. So this is one of the key focus points of the design of this car, to make sure that the air doesn't just flow underneath it, over it and down the sides, but also through it, sort of. Colin Chapman, the founder of Lotus, once said, "Nothing weighs less than air or than a hole," or something like that. So there are a couple of holes here to direct air through the car, and we'll talk a bit more about that when we get to the side and the rear. But man, this front end is absolutely magnificent. And we've also got the new Lotus logo at the front. So one more way you can see that they focused on the airflow with this car is that this is actually active aero. So this part, this entire grille area with this triangular pattern in there, this can open up to let air in if you need more cooling, or it closes when you just need the air to go down the sides. As I mentioned earlier, 23-inch wheels on this particular car, which is optional. Also optional, carbon ceramic brakes. This car doesn't have that. We've got 285 section tire at the front, 325 at the rear. So that is a performance indicator, basically. That it means they want this car to do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in less than 3 seconds. And you need a lot of rubber to do that with a car of this size. We've also got the first of many Lidar cameras on this car. Lidar is basically radar, but digital, sort of. If you use your phone to do something with augmented reality, Lidar is the thing that makes the image for your phone. This is one of the cameras. We also have one on top, at the front and at the rear. And as you can see, this car also features carbon fiber wing mirror cameras. You can also have a regular mirror if this is not really your thing. Now, door handles are flush, they come out automatically. We've got another camera here in the B pillar. and the side profile is very, very sporty. It does really resemble a supercar that has been raised up on big wheels, and I really like that look. So speaking of gaping holes, we have another one here at the D-pillar, which directs air towards the windscreen, and so do these two little spoilers, left and right. This part is open here, so the Lidar camera that sits on top can view whatever is behind the car, and then the rear resembles that of the Lotus Evija. This car can't have that, of course, because you need a boot. So it does have these two massive holes, left and right, to again direct air out of the wheel well to reduce lift and drag. So another feature of this twin spoiler is that it directs air towards this active rear wing, which opens. We've got a beautiful rear light ribbon, which also indicates the charging, and of course the indicators are in there as well. And I think it has an unlocking feature as well. So because this is a prototype and the only one in the world, we can't actually sit inside, but I can show you what they've done with the interior. Now, we've got a lot of super clever weight saving. All this lightweight wool and microfiber is 50% lighter than leather, so that is the Lotus way, of course. Save weight where you can. We've got a lot of ambient lighting. We've got gold switchgear, which is probably going to be an option. We don't really know that yet. But one of the coolest features in the interior is the fact that they use leftover carbon fiber to mold into interior parts. So when you make a part like on the rear, you have some left over at the edges. So they cut that off, make it into a nice new thing, which I quite like. Other than that, we've got a nice display for the driver, which displays journey information and stuff the driver needs to know. And then we've got another little passenger display on the other side, which displays POIs or whatever the passenger needs to navigate or do the music or whatever, which is quite clever. And then we've got a bigger landscaped type screen in the center, 15-inch, which displays everything else and which can also be tilted down. So you don't need to look at that screen all the time because you also have a head-up display as standard. So if we take a look at the rear seats, we've got a 4-seat setup in this car, but a 5-seat with a regular rear bench is more suitable for Europe probably. So that is also optional, with a little screen in between the two seats and a little carbon insert on the front seat as well, which is very nice. So, because this is an electric vehicle, we also have to talk about specs, of course. We've got around 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack, as I said, with 2 electric motors, one rear, one front. It can take up to 350 kilowatt of charge, so you can charge up to 400 kilometers of range in 18 minutes, because it has an 800 volt architecture, which we know from the Audi RS e-tron and the Porsche Taycan. So this really is the cutting edge of electric powertrains right now. And why is this a Lotus? Well, as I said, with the interior, they tried to save weight where they can, but the target weight for this car, when it's completely production ready, is around 2,000 kilos, and that is much lighter than anything else in this class. I mean, you're looking at a car that is the size of a Porsche Cayenne that will weigh less than a Tesla Model Y, which is insane. So I really hope that they are able to capture the essence of Lotus, which of course is driving pleasure and lightweight, into this lifestyle SUV, which, I mean, to be honest, they're just going to build it because it's so popular. And to be able to do that with the Lotus idea in mind is really cool, and I'm looking forward to driving it when it comes out, probably early next year. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.